SIKORSKI'S Think Abouts. I'm your host, Laura Sikorski. And as you can see from the backdrop, we do not have a live guest. We have someone on Skype, and his name is Brad Cleveland. Brad is met Brad in 1988. He is a business colleague and a friend since then. Brad has appeared on different media, from Wall Street Journal, All Things Considered. He's written 8 books. He is truly an expert in our call center industry. He is today's foremost expert in customer strategy management, and he's a sought-after consultant and popular speaker. So with that, Brad, welcome to the show. And I just want to say to our audience, I am not going to be swiveling back and forth. I'm going to talk to Brad as if he is right in the room. So welcome.
Great, Laura. Thanks for having me. Real privilege to be on the show.
I'm really excited. And he is coming in from Idaho. So we've got a great
Sun Valley,
connection.
Idaho. If we were to walk out, I'm actually in my home office today. And if we were to walk out, we'd see the Rocky Mountains. And if you squint, you can see skiers coming down a
Oh my goodness.
nearby resort. So
Well,
greetings
just
from the Rockies.
Start making me jealous, okay? Well, listen, our topic today is going to be contact centers and their value to customers and an organization. So I think our audience really would like to know, what are some of the trends defining the customer service space today, and specifically our call and contact centers?
Yeah, well, let me throw out one that's going to be no surprise to anybody, and that's multi-channel. We've got a lot of ways to interact today, and internally that's an opportunity. It's a real challenge. You add these channels. It seems easy if you're not in these environments, but we're talking about recruiting, hiring, training, processes, organizational structure. So those organizations that really get the breadth of channels in place that their customers want really are going to be ahead. The other that goes along with that is complexity. In 2009, studies say that search surpassed dialing an 800 number as the most common entry point into service. We all do that today. You need help with something. We're all going to do a quick search to see what's out there. We'll use anything we can immediately get our arms around, and only then will we interact with the organization. So those interactions are filtered. They're more complex than ever, and we better have the gray matter and the information at their fingertips to really do a great job with them. It's a very exciting time. These are deep-seated trends that are truly changing the game out there.
I know myself. I search first, call later. And I think that's exactly, and people are doing it on any type of smartphone, tablet, etc. So our customers and our callers and our click-inners are very different today.
That's right.
With all these channels that are happening, and I'm sure you've got this question asked a lot, what should they do first?
In terms of rolling out the channels?
In rolling out the channels, because I was asked the question recently, how come not more companies have embraced the technology of channels? So what do you think?
It's a great question, and we have to remember, even with something like social media, there are thousands of places you could be and go. You think of the most obvious ones: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a few others that pretty much dominate those channels, but there are new ones springing up every day. And within those channels, customer forums. If you walk into GM's contact center, it's quiet. You hear the clickety-clack of keyboards because they're interacting with 97 automobile forums. So any one of these channels have lots of variation. Here's what we tell our clients: have a presence in 4 areas. Have traditional channels out there. They're not going away. Phone, email, the basics. Have good self-service systems and keep working on them so that they're better all the time. Have a presence in social and go to where your customers are. It's going to be different for different cultures and different demographics that you're serving. And have a presence in mobile. How are your customers using these mobile devices? And if you've got your reasonable presence in those 4 areas, you're going to be on the right track.
Perfectly. Totally agree. What about quality assurance on all these channels? I mean, we do have speech analytics today. We do have the recording and the monitoring. How do you monitor a chat session? How do you monitor quality in those?
Well, this is gonna sound probably flippant, and I sure don't mean it to, but you just do. First of all, I mean that too many organizations are not taking the great work they've done in traditional channels and applying it to social and mobile chat, these other channels that have come along. You've got to do it. 80% of it applies. Obviously, every channel has its culture, has its unique approach, and we've got to make sure we're giving attention to that last 20%, by channel presence. But take the criteria that you've worked so hard to develop and make sure you're applying them across the breadth of your channels. Let me throw in, Laura, one more thought on this. My colleagues at ICMI have taught for years, criteria fall into two camps: foundation and finesse. Finesse, how we do things. Foundation is whether or not we do something. And there's a real trend right now to focusing on those foundational elements. Now, if you have a pilot's license and just for private flying and commercial flying, there are thousands of flights in the air right now, and it's so safe because that community's done such a great job of nailing down foundational components. Am I at the right airspeed? Am I at the right altitude? Am I on the right radio frequency? We can do that in customer service environments. That doesn't restrict our personalities. It frees them up. So make sure you're focusing on those things that have to happen in an interaction. And that's going to free your team up to really see their personalities shine.
And I totally agree. I many times consult, let's get back to the basics of your organization, and then let's build our quality around what your vision was in the very, very beginning. Yeah. This one always bothers me. Is video finally going to be here? Obviously, we're Skyping today, but is it going to happen in the call center? What do you think?
Absolutely, and there's really two answers to that. One is that we're not quite there well, let me answer where we are with video. YouTube is the second most used search engine behind Google, and we all tend to do that. If you get a product or a technology question or something on any kind of service, many of us will go to YouTube and see if there's a video that someone's put out there that will help walk us through things. So that is becoming very common. One-way video, true interactive, customer service. We're not seeing so much of that yet, but wow, is it going to happen? And it's probably going to happen and be here quicker than most of us realize. Amazon's work with their Mayday button is a great example, and that's one way. You press the Mayday button on a Kindle Fire, you can see the customer service rep. He or she can't see you, but we're getting there. We do expect to see video become a part of our service ecosystem, a common one, in coming months and years.
And I think with the Amazon Mayday, they're setting the bar higher. So all of a sudden, right, that 9 seconds that you can get, even though it's only one way, that 9 seconds means a lot. And people are going to say, why don't you offer something like that? So quite interesting.
That is a great point. And talking to Tom Whelan, their VP of Customer Service, their uptake is exceeding all expectations, and it's not like they set the bar low. So right, if you have one of these devices, more times than not, you're using that channel to communicate. And customers love it. Definitely. We're wired up for multimedia. I mean, if we were to just close our eyes right now and go back to a monomedia mode, it would seem like something's missing.
Oh, forget it. We'd be back in the dark ages,
Yeah.
Crazy. What do you think senior C-level leaders need to be doing to position their call centers for the future?
Boy, that's a great question. Build a cross-functional team. See service as a cross-functional responsibility. It takes an organization. And ensure that you're not just handling a bunch of interactions, that you're learning from them, that you've got a little analyst team that can go in and really put some thought into what are we learning about our products and services and processes that we can share across the breadth of our organization. That becomes powerful. I mean, that's research and development on a just handed to us on a platter that we can run with.
Absolutely. Now, we are just about out of time, believe it or not, Brad. So I just would like to tell our audience, if you want to reach Brad, you can do so with a direct message on Twitter to Brad Cleveland, or you can email Brad at bradcleveland.com. Now, to reach me, you certainly can DM me at Twitter, Laura Sikorski, or email me at lsikorski@laurasikorski.com. Okay, so Brad, I just certainly want to thank you for taking the time this morning to chat with us at Sikorski's Think Abouts, and I do hope we get to see each other real time very, very soon.
That sounds great, Laura. I love this stuff. So this has been a privilege for me, and thanks for the great work you're doing.
Great. Thank you very much. And if I can just do one more second, on December 22nd will be Adrienne Miller. She is going to speak about customer service and sales and how it's a match made in heaven. So until then, thank you for clicking in and have a perfect day.